An episode by myself, once again, talking to the abyss for your ear holes. Yummy ear holes. Yes, yes, Conway, pierce my dirty little filthy ear holes and tell me all your rants and knowledge, Miss Conway. Okay, that was stupid.
And here's to the beginning.
Drink to that.
Why, Johnny Ringo.
Hello, I'm Johnny Cash.
I know exactly what I'm doing, and I can change it at any time.
I'm your huckleberry.
An outlaw loose and running came the whisper from each lip, and he's here to do some business with the big iron on his hip.
Incoming the Rambling Podcast, with your hosts, Conway Titty, and Stoney Robbins.
Howdy, hey, cowpokes, and welcome back to another episode of the Ramblin' Podcast. I'm your host, Conway Titty. Joined with me is Conway Titty, and not Stoney Robbins, because Stoney Robbins is having a little break. So it's a Conway episode again, which is great, because it's such a great ranting episode, and I know Stoney will just be like, roll his eyes and be like, I'm glad you did it by yourself, kind of thing. So welcome back to another week of me just blaring in your ear holes for no good reason whatsoever, minus Jonathan of Robinson. You know, he makes it a little bit, he breaks up the voices of me just nonsensical, not making sense, just not making sense ever on this podcast. He really breaks up that long droning of me just rambling and not stopping, and just I could talk for hours, and he knows this, and he's the one that stops and at least participates enough so when it's an episode by myself, help you guys, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know, I can't tell if I'm ever annoying or you guys thoroughly enjoy just hearing me talk. I have not figured that out yet. For me, having to edit episodes that are strictly just about not about myself, but only me talking is just so obnoxious. I find myself so obnoxious in the editing. And then I'm like, woo, another episode out. I did it. Yay. It's a lot of mixed emotions, to be honest. But speaking of mixed emotions, today's episode is going to be all about Thanksgiving, Black Friday, or as I like to call it, Takesgiving. Because let's be real, we're not even going to do a research episode about this at all, because y'all should know the true origins of Thanksgiving. And if you don't, well, go on to Google and figure it out. You should know that it is, I don't even know why we celebrate this as a holiday, considering it is a massacre holiday that was made up by a bunch of white people, and really bad for indigenous peoples. I don't understand that. And the whole concept of sitting together eating food and they shared a table and blah blah. It's just a bunch of bullshit. All right. So I don't like celebrating Thanksgiving. So with that, let's pivot to I like celebrating Friendsgiving. I have much more of a fun time when it's Friendsgiving rather than doing any family stuff or anything of that nature. But the reason, let me tell you about Friendsgiving and why I just vote for that over a normal family Thanksgiving like most people do, or a lot of Friendsgiving is has been around for a long time. I enjoy the concept of it because not only is it a special day, whether you do it actually on Thanksgiving or most people like do it the weekend before, a weekday before Thanksgiving, like they just kind of like weeks before Thanksgiving. It's just any pretty much a weekend or a day in November that the designated host makes for the Friendsgiving. And I really enjoy the concept that this is a day to hang out with people that you thoroughly enjoy, that has really nothing to do with a family aspect. There's a sense of a deeper relaxation when it comes to friendsgivings. If you're doing friendsgivings right, you're always going to have a really good time. You're always going to have fun. You're always going to make really good memories. Um And that's really what, Friendsgiving is about. If you're having a stressful time at Friendsgiving, minus like hosting or making all the food, I know that is stressful. So let's put that in a little corner. But if you're having a bad time with the people around that you invited to your Friendsgiving, you're doing it wrong. I've hosted plenty of Friendsgivings in the past. I think they're so much fun. I love making a big table for everybody and having like a candlelit dinner and cooking up a storm and just hanging out with all my friends, right? The concept of Friendsgiving is so beautiful because you're not really, like I said, you're not hanging around your family. Whether you like your family or not, holidays are so stressful with family members in general. There's so much pressure on it. And it feels like with Friendsgiving, there's that layer of like you can be yourself because you're around your friends. You're not having to deal with the stressors of family. Like, for example, the questions. A lot of people don't, especially your friends, they're not going to deep dive into like when you're getting married, when you're having babies, are you dating anybody, how's college going, what's your career like? All those basic questions that like family members only ask during the holiday seasons because it's most of the time you don't see these family members all the time, or if you do, cool. But you know what I mean. I love the concept of just being able to hang out with your friends most of the time. How Friendsgivings that I've gone to worked and ones that I've hosted is like usually um some people dress up, have a nice with Friendsgiving, some of them just like casual. It's whatever. I prefer like a little dressy up Friendsgiving. I think it's fun. It gives everyone a reason to like look really good and hang out and have a really good dinner and a fancy, quote unquote fancy dinner. It just makes it look all nice, right? You don't really like feel that with your family's Thanksgiving as much because you're kind of like, oh, it's my family. I don't gotta like impress anybody. Blah blah blah. Like same with your friends, but it's just like when your friends are more inclined to want to dress up. I also think it's so nice. So not only are you there with your friends, you're eating with your friends, you're having a good time, then it leads to like board games or card games or made up games that you guys have. Or it's like drinking games, or if you don't even drink, like just the concept of like hanging out and it doesn't feel like you have to be like, oh, there's Aunt Linda asking me 40 questions about when I'm gonna have a kid, or what I'm majoring in college, and I've said the answer 30 times, and she's just being super drunk Aunt Linda over there. For example, that was just a rough example. You don't really necessarily have that. Like I said, you're choosing the people you want to invite over for your Friendsgiving. Like I said, if your Friendsgiving is bad, that's your own fault. I like the concept too because the way a lot of families for Thanksgivings go is there's mainly the host who cooks all the food. At least with Friendsgivings, a lot of people do potlucks, so everyone brings certain things, so it makes a whole meal together, and you all feel like you're sharing it. And I just really thoroughly enjoy Friendsgivings more, and I truly think that it's such a minus the whole Thanksgiving topic or concept into it, like sitting. It's just a nice sitting in a meal with your friends eating. I feel like I'm a broken record just kind of talking in circles here. But it is true. It's just the one day a year for some reason that we have to be with our friends, and it's not a wedding or a funeral or a reunion or anything like that. Like it's just like a little holiday for you and your friends. And I think that's so fucking cool. I think it's awesome. I think Friendsgivings are so cool. Um, I hate not being able to go to Friendsgivings when I'm busy or I have other things to do. Um, that really does suck. It really does suck. And it's so different than like, a work Thanksgiving for you guys. If you have like a work coworkers and work Thanksgiving, that's always a little weird sometimes too, because you're like, oh, I don't really hang out with these people, at work. That's it. But like I said, it's your friends. You're having fun. You're having a good time. You don't like a company Thanksgiving. You feel obligated to like be on your best behavior. You know what I mean? Um, I don't know. I really like the concept of the Friendsgiving and just gathering around the table, telling crazy stories, or just having a good time with games and um, just enjoying being around people that you actually want to be around, and there's not going to be any shit brought up that you don't want to talk about. There's not going to be anything like that. Like I said, if you're doing it right, you won't have to deal with all the stressors of it. The only stress you'll have is the cooking or hosting, or if you're even in that. Otherwise, you have really no stress at all. So shifting gears here to the what we call Thanksgiving. Like I said, I do not enjoy the holiday. I think it's quite stupid. Um, I don't really see the point of it because it's not the same anymore. If you're shifting to just a gathering time to eat and stuff your face, then like awesome. I think that's where we're at now of 2023. I think a lot of us are still here of like watching football, hanging out, enjoying a good meal. That's like mainly what a lot of people do. Um, and I loved watching the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade growing up as a kid. I would watch that every Thanksgiving morning. I mean I still do if I catch it. And that's just a fun little like tradition to do as well. I know people that go on turkey trots or basically like little mini 5Ks on Thanksgiving morning, which is like batshit crazy. And I'm so glad I did not marry into a family that does 5Ks on Thanksgiving. I would never be running in general. I hate running. I hate marathons. I don't know how people do it. Good for them though, because like that's like takes a lot to do that. I just cannot run. It's like my least favorite exercise. I would rather do something else. But people wake up on Thanksgiving morning and they go and run their 5K and then they feel better about eating the tons of food that they're going to eat later, or it's like for a good cause. But yeah, there's tons of people who do runs on Thanksgiving. People go to like football games on Thanksgiving. Instead of actually doing a Thanksgiving, they just spend their entire day at American football games, which is dope because there's always all the Cowboys are always playing. The Dallas Cowboys are always playing on Thanksgiving, and that's just a really fun thing to do. It's like every Thanksgiving, I know I'm at least watching the Dallas Cowboys play. This year, they're actually having Dolly Parton be there, have a little concert there too, which is pretty sick. Hate that I'm missing out on that this year. But there's always, like I said, it's always gonna be a thing. Always gonna have the Dallas Cowboys play on Thanksgiving, and so that's like a thing people do, or people go. Kind of what a lot of people do on Christmas Day. A lot of people on Christmas Day, that's why a lot of movie theaters are open. People go watch movies on Christmas Day, so people will go do it on Thanksgiving. But most of the time, now that we are in the year 2023 and deals and sales and capitalism is running a muck, just absolutely insane. Fucking it's such a deep dive that we're not gonna get too into. But switching from Thanksgiving and Friendsgiving to Black Friday. Black Friday used to be let's say the early 2000s, just for example. Just the 2000s in general, 2000 to 2010, right? Just like that little era, quote unquote, used to be the day after Thanksgiving, you line up early in the morning and you go get in line for these like deals. And they used to be like really big deals. Like sometimes you would get TVs for hundreds and hundreds of dollars off or 50% off, and they would only have a limited number of them and you couldn't buy them online. You couldn't get them anywhere. So you have to go to these places. All the clothing stores had sales racks and everything that are like even bigger discounted, and you really want to go in there. And just like all these shops had specific things that you could not get online and you could not get the deal online, so you would uh line up and you'd wait, or you'd get a little ticket and you'd wait. And the chaos of Black Friday was like insane. If you guys have seen Jingle All the Way with Arnold Schwarzenegger, it's literally him waiting for that superhero doll for his kid. That's what's crazy is like him fighting over it and waiting in line and making sure he gets it for his kid before Christmas. That's kind of what Black Friday is. It's literally the day to get all the deals and make sure you have all your Christmas shopping done. And there's a lot of pressure to it. So now that we're in, you know, 20 years later, right? You have this weird shift of companies are doing sales earlier and earlier, and they're jacking up their normal original prices of things and basically putting their items on sale for the same exact price as they are originally. But we don't, if you're not paying attention, you don't really know that. So you just buy it because you think it's a huge deal and it says $200 off, when in reality, they just up the price $200 and it's the same exact price. Or it's like barely even anything. It's like $50 off, if that. for certain things. Just for example, it's a very broad spectrum here. But I find that absolutely ridiculous is the fact that not only are companies kind of confusing and conniving when it comes to the Black Friday deals. Black Friday starts at the beginning of November now. There's not really a designated day. Um, there's not a lot of in-store things. I mean, like even with 2020 happening, a lot of things went to online only. So like I get it. There's a huge shift. It's always going to happen. We're not going to get those giant crowded malls anymore. We're not going to get those giant crowded Walmarts or Best Buys or any giant, game stores either. We're not going to have those crowds of people waiting in line to get their specific things. You're not going to see these fist fighting Black Friday fights that that were very prominent during this time too. Is people literally fist fighting over a fucking video game console or things like that. That's something I do remember was when the Wii came out. The Nintendo Wii. When the Wii came out, I remember waiting in line because it was on sale massively for that first Black Friday it came out. For that first Black Friday that it came out, it was massively on sale. And I remember waiting in line, and my family all went together at the designated Walmart, and we all had our one job. We all were in a specific line for a specific thing. And I remember I was in the specific line for the Nintendo Wii. And that was also the thing, like I always got to see Christmas presents before they even came out because I was there in line trying to get one. And then the family would just wrap it and then be like, "Ta-da, here's your Christmas present," or we would somehow convince the family members to be like, "Hey, can we have that early? We already know it." But yeah, you would designate your family to one person go stand by the TV, one person go stand by the gaming consoles, one by the movies, one by like you would just have them in different areas of things that you would mark, and you would get these flyers weeks in advance or like a week in advance, and you'd be circling like what aisle this is, where it was going to be, what you need to be standing in, and like you would have like a game plan to go on these Black Friday days. Now it's like there's not that anymore. Everything is so overrun by so many companies now that it is literally the entire month of November. First of all, like I said, the deals aren't very good. Also, another point I mentioned, and then we're stuck with just mass marketed shit. Not shit that's a good quality, just a bunch of bullshit that they're handing to us and saying it's on sale so people are going to buy it, and it's ridiculous. So the entire month of November, you're being able to get these deals, right? Quote unquote deals. Then you also have the Cyber Monday deals that used to be huge and very popular. They're still very popular, but then they're also pushing it like the Cyber Mondays deals start on Black Friday. It's like it doesn't make it special if you're putting it out on multiple days or putting it out on the entire month. It makes it just I get the deals. It's good to save money and where you can, right? Don't get me wrong. I do enjoy the Cyber Monday deals and the Black Friday deals when I'm getting something, right? But I don't like that it started creeping up. So like early mid 2000s was waiting in line on Black Friday that morning because stores only allowed it at this time to this time, or the sale is only from this time to this time, right? Then it started getting to where, oh, okay, now the deals are on Thanksgiving night. So as soon as you're done, everyone's having like Thanksgiving lunch the day of, like on Thanksgiving, they're having their lunch. And then everyone would run to the store. So they're in line by 8 p.m. for a $300 off a TV, for example, So then it started kind of cutting into Thanksgiving time. And then it started getting to where on Thanksgiving, the Black Friday's deals start. So most people don't even have Thanksgiving and they're just waiting in line for these deals. And then it started getting where like Black Friday deals are like the week of, and then they're like 2 weeks before, and now they're like the whole month of November. It's good and bad because it gives people time to stretch their dollars around and they're not having to spend all their money in that one day, or they have more time to save up for it. But it's also just dumb. It's such a dumb concept to even have Black Friday deals anymore, because it's like it's not a day anymore. It's not a thing. It's not. And that whole origin of Black Friday is ridiculous in the first place too. like, if you go into depth of Thanksgiving and you do all your research on that, have a fun rabbit hole journey on that. Then you have a Black Friday, how it started rabbit hole on that. That's also like, enjoy your night, guys. Go do that. But I just think it's kind of batshit crazy that the main point is that we have a day where we're sitting at a table and we go around and we say what we're grateful for. Um, I'm grateful for life and I'm so blessed and love, 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 love. Bullshit, 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 right? Everyone's just, I'm so thankful that I'm still here on this earth. And then literally less than 24 hours later, they're in line punching people to get their kid a fucking Barbie doll or like bad example, but yeah, they're punching people in line to get them fucking for example, the main thing I remember seeing growing up was people fist fighting literally over the Nintendo Wii. So yeah, I always thought it was comical that less than 24 hours later of everyone saying how much they're grateful for, they love their family and they're so happy to like just be and existing. And some people are like, I'm grateful and my wish is world peace or like shit like that. They're literally in line fighting Gary over there for a Nintendo Wii for a spot because they have the last one. Like it's so chaotic and so fucked up. And I know I'm not the first person to think this or say this or talk about it or anything like that. So it is a very common fucking thought. But it blows my mind, honestly, like how one can think that way and immediately just be like, whatever. It's the same thing with like New Year's resolutions. Is January 1st, everyone's like, oh, I'm gonna start going to the gym and losing weight and doing this and be a better me and be healthier. And then literally the next day they're like, no, never mind. I don't really care to do that. It's just this all for show bullshit and it's crazy. And it all goes into if Stoney was here, he would be saying, oh, big corporations, big candies, big holiday, big whatever he would come up with. And it's true. It's all about the capitalism and everything being so expensive. So the companies fuck with you and they play with you and they're like, that's pretty cool. I guess we're gonna, like I said, put a TV for $500 normally. So let's raise the prices for the TV for $700 and tell them that it's $200 off. It's just, I don't know. The concept of that is in general. So like Thanksgiving and Black Friday, since they're just 48 hours together, is just can be like I remember it always being such a chaotic 48 hours. You're spending almost a whole week prepping and cooking. And then you're also planning what you're going to get on Black Friday, hoping that you get it on Black Friday. Granted, Black Friday has always been a really fun day for me, like especially when I would be heavily playing Xbox when like Xbox 360 was out and Xbox One and everything like that, right? Like the Xbox series, that's what I usually played. I mean, I played PlayStation, but I'm definitely an Xbox girly. Not anymore because PCs are reigning supreme, right? Just kind of pointless to have a console nowadays. But I remember that the Call of Duties and the Assassin's Creed would always come out like October or like beginning of November. And we never had enough money to be able to buy it like right out. So I would have to get it if it was on sale, or I would just have to wait a whole year until the other one came out and then I would play the last year's version. Or if I had enough money saved up, I would go buy it myself on sale. Like I would never buy the full price of a game, especially when I knew they were always going to be on sale on Black Friday. So that was always something really, really, really fun that I remember. It's very prominent to me is sometimes I would go to the Black Friday. I would go get the game, the physical copy of the game. Sometimes it'd be sold out. But I always made sure to go get what I needed, whether it was Assassin's Creed or like a Call of Duty game. And I remember Assassin's Creed 3 came out. And if you guys know anything about me, you know Assassin's Creed 3 is like my favorite video game ever. I love it so much. It just has such a little place in my heart. And this is one of the reasons why is I got the very last copy of Assassin's Creed 3 on Black Friday, and I went home and immediately got to play it. And after waiting like a month to wanting to play it and seeing all my friends play it, and I just felt so behind, um, I immediately put it in and got to play it. And that was like such a memorable moment for me. And it's still one of my favorite games. Assassin's Creed is one of my favorite franchises. You guys know that. Um, and I just had a really good time playing it. And I did the same thing the next year with Assassin's Creed Black Flag. And I played the absolute shit out of it. Same with like Call of Duty. I think it was like Black Ops 2 and Black Ops 3 maybe. I think maybe Black Ops 1 and 2, if I think that's the time frame. I really can't remember. But I know Assassin's Creed 3 was such a memorable moment. Was waiting in line and there was like 5 or 6 people behind me waiting to get a copy, and I got the very last copy, and I was like so elated and happy, and I used my birthday money that I got earlier that year for it, and I was so fucking over the moon that I got to get myself my own Christmas present, and I didn't have to wait to unwrap it, and I could go home and play it, and I did, and I just played the shit out of it. Fucking awesome. Like, those moments are really memorable and fun, and I'm like, yes, I'm glad there was a Friday deal, otherwise I wouldn't have been able to buy it and play it and et cetera, et cetera. But, also seeing the many bad things about Black Friday, it's the stealing or stealing, like, people stealing shit out of your own basket when you're not looking, um people fighting, people getting so angry over something so small just to save some money. And I get it, but it's also like, Jesus, it's not material things like that are not worth it. And I think it's insane. It also heightened my I hate crowds very much. Um, kind of energy growing up with just like being in these really like malls were insane to go to. If you guys remember just how crazy malls were on Black Friday were. I would avoid that as much as possible. If I didn't have to go with my family, I wouldn't. Um, Walmarts were even so fucking crazy. Like, it's just weird the like layers of things, and like most of the time too, it's like they're not even doing Black Friday's sales on like food or anything like that. It's mainly like sometimes clothes, 100% like electronics for sure. They're gonna always be there, and like Christmas toys and things like that. But it was never you would never see the Black Friday sales on food. And I always thought that was pretty wild as well. But I don't know. Like I said, I'm just here ranting to you guys about Takesgiving, because you're basically saying you're thankful for everything and then you're taking immediate shit from everybody else. I don't know. I have such a weird relationship with Thanksgiving. Um and I just prefer Friendsgivings over that any day of the week easily. Anytime. Um, let's talk about the Thanksgiving food. I'll kind of switch gears that not be so ranty here. Let's talk about Thanksgiving foods. Um, it's so different. Also, like, Thanksgiving is really only a thing celebrated in America. Also, so for my international listeners, if you celebrate Thanksgiving, why? I would really like to know why you celebrate Thanksgiving if you're not in the United States of America. That also is like crazy to me. I mean, a lot of other countries really do enjoy American culture. So they do have some American holidays that they do use. And Thanksgiving now around the world is kind of, if it is celebrated around the world, it's mainly because of just the kind of friendsgiving aspect. You're sitting down eating a bunch of food together and hanging out. Like, it has nothing to do with the true origins of Thanksgiving or anything like that. But yeah, I would really like to know your reasoning if you're an international listener, which I know you guys are out there. Why do you guys celebrate Thanksgiving there if you do? And what country are you in when you do it? So moving on to the Thanksgiving food, it is so different in so many parts of the country of the United States, right? It's so fucking different, and like 100%. And I will not eat Thanksgiving food anywhere else but the South. And if you're from the South, you fucking know why. You know exactly what I'm talking about. It is the cooking. The cooking style in the South is unbelievably, insanely good. And a lot of the Thanksgiving meals and side dishes and the main courses it's fucking better in the South. It is so much better in the South. I don't know if Southerners just cook better, but like, holy fuck, the seasoning, the usefulness. I know the Midwest has some crazy ass recipes for Thanksgiving side dishes in general. I know the northern states have some also crazy northern, and then like the western states also have some crazy dishes. And you guys can look all those up separately because they're some of them are batshit crazy, but it's just so common. Um, and growing up in Oklahoma, it's a lot of it is very mixed because we are in the South, but we're also in the Midwest. And specifically where I grew up, I'm surrounded by the Midwest, but also have the South right by me too. It's such a weird mix. So for me, it was also very like cheap, very cheap. Everyone wants to save as much as you can on Thanksgiving too, so you always use the cheap things, canned goods for sure. Um, no, I never really got to experience like truly fully homemade Thanksgiving from like everything from scratch. Now in my adult life, I try to do that. I do that for Stoney and I. Like instead of making a whole turkey, like Stoney and I will do like little hens, or we'll do like little quails. Um, things you would get at medieval times, like a whole little pheasant. That's what we do. We each have our own little individual thing. But in reality, if you guys want to be smart, here's a tip. Side note, little side tangent here. Costco rotisserie chickens are $5. You can get 12 rotisserie chickens for $60. And I think that's really funny because that's even cheaper than a whole turkey. So instead of doing turkey, everyone should just from now on, everyone gets their own full-size rotisserie chicken to gnaw on with their bare hands from Costco. I just think that that should be the new Thanksgiving norm where, oh, you're having 20 people over for dinner. Okay, each of those 20 people get their own rotisserie chicken from Costco because it's fucking delicious and it's $5. And you're saving so much more money than you would on fucking turkey, right? That's just me. And then no one's sharing anything. They can all nom 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 however they want, and it's still delicious and it's still good. That's just me though. Save a dime where you can, right? There's my little Conway's advice for you guys. No, but the foods are so crazy and out there. Um, a lot of people absolutely hate green bean casserole. I used to hate green bean casserole growing up until I realized that the green bean casserole just wasn't really made particularly right. It was always like canned green beans, which is fine. Canned cream of mushroom soup, canned cream of whatever soup, right? And that's fine too. I still use that to this day. And everything just like super processed, super cheap, super easy put together. And I was always like, oh, okay, this is delicious. But once I made an actual green bean casserole with like fresh green beans, um, we'll have like garden green beans. I'm not talking about like fucking a great value can of green beans. We'd have like garden canned green beans. So it's still pretty good. It's still better than like regular Walmart canned green beans, right? Where you don't know where they're at all or coming from or what's in it, right? Which there's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with that. I just meant I've never truly had that full like home cooked everything, right? So now as an adult, I made a full green bean casserole of like fresh green beans, fresh homemade mushroom, cream of uh chicken, whatever else you put in it, and like homemade fried onions on top. And like I've made that, and that was like such a game changer. It was the same thing with like making a homemade sweet potato casserole. It's also a huge difference when you make actual homemade mashed potatoes. All we had usually at my Thanksgiving is or my family's Thanksgiving is instant mashed potatoes. And I know a lot of you guys probably relate. Which one is cheap? But I'm not gonna hate on instant mashed potatoes. I like instant mashed potatoes, but it's not as too much work to make homemade mashed potatoes either. So like that was like a huge game changer for me was actually having real mashed potatoes at a Thanksgiving and not an instant like it was a game changer to not have instant anything. And I got to make a whole kind of Thanksgiving meal from scratch by myself. And I was like, holy shit, like this is what it tastes like. And then also being a Southern cook, throwing in everything under the fucking sun that's just delicious is amazing. You're not having Velveeta's shells and cheese mac and cheese. You're having homemade mac and cheese with like 4 different fucking cheeses thrown in it. It's a fucking baked deliciousness, right? So you have your mac and cheese, you have your mashed potatoes, you got your gravy, homemade gravy too, not instant gravy. Like I said, all this can be whatever the fuck you want, guys. I'm not judging on it. I've had it all. I just, like I said, as an adult, I fully got to do it all for the first time, and it really was a game changer. So mashed potatoes, sweet potato casserole or yams, which are, don't say the same thing because they're technically not, kind of ish, maybe. You have the green bean casserole. You have the mac. I think I already said mac. Let's go. Hang on. Let me start over because my brain is like all over the fucking place. Mashed potatoes, mac and cheese, green bean casserole, sweet potatoes and or yams. Um, Throw in that turkey. Throw in the gravy. Obviously the cranberry sauce, whether it's homemade or it's the canned jelly cranberry sauce, which I fucking love. The cranberry sauce that is all jelly and it just jiggling. I will eat that whole can. I will just slurp it up like I'm fucking Kirby. 100%. Just, oh, it's so fucking good. And obviously, like rolls or bread. I know a lot of people will have like collard greens with theirs. They'll have creamed corn instead of like regular corn, or they'll have creamed corn, and they'll also have corn on the cob, like roasted corn on the cob. Roasted carrots and or brown sugar carrots are very popular. I know people that have full on instead of doing turkeys, they'll do full on seafood boils. So they're basically making like crawfish and potatoes and corn, or they'll make like shrimp, potatoes and corn, or they'll have shrimp, crawfish, crab legs, or just a type of fish, and they kind of do a whole seafood environment. I think those are really fucking cool. I think seafood Thanksgivings are dope because like fuck a turkey. It's great, but it's not like the best. You know what I mean? I like turkey, but it's not, it gets dry sometimes, even if it's cooked perfectly. And I like that concept. I love a roasted turkey. I love an oven roast baked turkey. I love a fried turkey. I love a barbecued turkey. Like, holy shit, there's like a million ways you can also cook that meat too. Stuffing is so fucking good, or AKA dressing. It's properly, the southern term is dressing. Dressing and stuffing are practically the same fucking thing. It just depends on what you're putting in it and everything like that. Which also is like, do you trust people to make this other shit? You know what I mean? Like if I'm a host, I'm gonna make everything because some people just don't know how to cook, and that's okay. But I don't want to, especially when it comes to like important meals. Um, I get nervous. I get nervous when people bring the important sides because they could fuck it up, and then there's fucks up that entire side that everyone's looking forward to. You know what I mean? So most people do ham too. They'll have like ham and turkey. Some people do goose. Some people do duck. Some people like do quails or pheasants. The seafood, that's a pretty popular one. I know people do lobster dishes, depending on the areas you are. A lot of people do casseroles in the Midwest. Like they'll have tater tot casseroles in it. They'll have all sorts of dessert casseroles, which are also batshit crazy in themselves. Midwestern casseroles are just, fucking insane, and they have like 30 different names for them. That's nuts. And then you also have like a whole dessert area on it, and it also depends on like your race. Race? Oh my god, I can't talk. It also depends on like your background. So, like Italians, some Italians will have fucking pasta also on Thanksgiving because that's just like their thing. Black people, man, they can fucking cook. They can fucking cook. So every time their meals are amazing, absolutely delicious, and they have like 40 other fucking sides that I would say a white couple from Maine probably wouldn't have, and it probably wouldn't taste as good either, and it wouldn't have as much seasoning, and like you guys fucking know what I'm talking about. Um, I love that. I love that. Every culture also has their own side dishes or traditions as well. Also, it involves into religion too, even religious based meals too. Like it's fucking nuts how in depth not only the region where you're at enjoying your Thanksgiving, your background, whether it's like where's your family from or your family ancestry or history. That also kind of depends on what traditions and what food that you have it into it. And then you add in the religion with it too, whether you're religious or not, or you have a specific religion you follow. I think it's fucking crazy how many different dishes, side dishes, and ways that are interpreted. And the most boring you could do is a bland turkey, an overcooked bland turkey, and all of your sides have no seasoning in it. And everyone's like, oh my God, this is so delicious. Like, no, get some goddamn culture in your food. We have the internet now, you know what I mean? Like, you can look up recipes to make the best Thanksgiving meal. So I don't want any excuses from y'all, all right? Like, it's not hard to follow a recipe, guys. Anyone can be a cook. Not everyone can be a good cook, but anyone can be a cook. You just give it a the good old college try. All right? But yeah, that was was such a random tangent, but it is true. Like it's just like geographically wherever you're at. And like I mentioned earlier, there's international Thanksgivings where people from all different countries celebrate Thanksgiving and they all have tons of different food there. I just think it's so crazy that it all started on some false pretenses of indigenous peoples and fucking white people eating together in harmonious la 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 bullshit. And now it's like one of the biggest fucking holidays in the entire world. That's crazy to me. That's crazy. That's so bad shit crazy. I don't know. But anyways, I think the food and the people is what makes this shitty holiday better. I think the company you keep make it 100% better. I also think the food makes or breaks it 100%. Like I just mentioned, make sure the people that you know can't cook don't cook the important shit when you're assigning your dishes to people. Or if they're like, I'll cook this, you go, somebody else is already cooking that. You just make something up so they don't have to fuck it up. You just bring pie. Oh, that's also the thing. Desserts are crazy. I'm not even going to go to that because desserts are just absolute. There's so much. And also, if you guys want to go on another deep dive rabbit hole, because we're not doing it this time, there's certain reasons we have certain desserts or certain dishes with meals for the lore of Thanksgiving or whatever the fuck, you know? But yeah, it's nuts. It's crazy. This time of year is absolutely insane. There seems to be so much pressure on basically as soon as Halloween's over, it's like all you feel is pressure. The holiday pressure, all of it. We'll get into that in some other episodes. But yeah, this is a fairly quick episode. I just felt like coming on here and rambling for you guys for a little bit. Nothing too crazy. Especially when it's me by myself. You guys don't want to hear me for fucking an hour and a half. Jesus Christ. I would drive myself crazy. I mean, you guys have listened to that in the Conway Chats episodes. Oh, 5 weeks of that. I don't know how you guys did it, to be honest. And it's hard because I feel like I just can't stop. I just won't stop talking because I know I'm recording and I'm like, okay, well, I need to get this here and get this there. But all right. Well, anyways, guys, thank you so much for listening. I hope you have a wonderful Turkey Day, aka Thanksgiving, aka Takesgiving, aka Friendsgiving. I hope you're spending it with a good time. If you're not, who fucking cares? It's just a made up holiday. It doesn't mean shit. If you're spending it alone, it's just another day. It really doesn't fucking matter. All right, to be honest. Um, but other than that, you guys know where to find me. You can find all my shit at ConwayTitty.com. That is Conway TITTY.com. Now that this is posted, you guys will be we are going to be doing a new Baldur's Gate 3 full playthrough on my Twitch stream with Stoney. It'll be his first time playing the entire game. I already put about 145 hours into my very first playthrough a couple months back when it came out. And that was fucking epic. So this time, Stoney's gonna join me. It'll be his first time. I'm gonna kind of guide him through the story a little bit. We're making some sick ass characters and some multi-class as well. So if you want to come hang out, make sure you follow us or follow me on the Twitch so you can watch me and Stoney game up some Dungeons and Dragons shit. It's a fantastic game. Baldur's Gate, game of the year. Top game I've ever played in my entire life. But anyways, yeah, we're gonna be starting that. Now that I finished playing Assassin's Creed Mirage, we're starting that. And then we'll be playing that the entire month of December. And that's it. Yeah. So come join us on the stream. All my other links. Don't forget to visit the Ramblin' Podcast website, which is theramblingpodcast.com. That's our official website. You can get anywhere, all of the streamings, where we stream to all the episodes. Where we stream. I can't even fucking talk anymore. My brain is mush. It's literally fucking 1 a.m. right now. And I'm just, goddamn. Anyways, theramblingpodcast.com. Go check it out. All right. I'll see you guys in the next episode. Stay safe, stay hydrated, get some rest, and I'll see you later. All right? All right. Bye-bye.